There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. That man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and turned away from evil. There were born to him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His possessions also were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and a very great household. So this man was the greatest of all the children of the East. His sons went and held a feast in the house of each one on his birthday, and they sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. It was so, when the days of their feasting had run their course, that Job sent and sanctified them, rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt sacrifices, offerings, according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and renounced God in their hearts." Job did so continually. Now on the day when God's sons came to present themselves before Yahweh, Satan also came among them. Yahweh said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, "From going back and forth in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." Yahweh said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? For there is no one like him in the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and turns away from evil." Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, "Does Job fear God for nothing? Haven't you made a hedge around him and around his house and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But stretch out your hand now and touch all that he has, and he will renounce you to your face." Yahweh said to Satan, "Behold, all that he has is in your power. Only on himself don't stretch out your hand." So Satan went out from the presence of Yahweh. It fell on a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house, that a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding beside them, and the Sabaeans attacked and took them away. Yes, they have killed all the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another came and said, "The fire of God has fallen from the sky and has burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was speaking, another also came and said, "The Chaldeans make 3 bands, and swept down on the camels, and have taken them away, yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, there came also another and said, "Your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in their older brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young men, and they are dead. I alone have escaped to tell you." Then Job arose and tore his robe and shaved his head and fell down on the ground and worshipped. And he said, "Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked will I return there. Yahweh gave, and Yahweh has taken away. Blessed be Yahweh's name." In all this Job did not sin, nor charge God with wrongdoing. Again, on the day when God's sons came to present themselves before Yahweh, Satan came also among them to present himself before Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" And Satan answered Yahweh and said, "From going back and forth in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." And Yahweh said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? For there is no one like him in the earth, blameless and an upright man, one who fears God and turns away from evil. He still maintains his integrity, although you enticed me against him to ruin him without cause." Satan answered Yahweh and said, Skin for skin. Yes, all that a man has, he will give for his life. But stretch out now your hand and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will renounce you to your face. Yahweh said to Satan, Behold, he is in your hand. Only spare his life. So Satan went out from the presence of Yahweh and struck Job with painful sores from the sole of his foot to his head. He took for himself a potsherd to scrape himself with, and he sat among the ashes. Then his wife said to him, Do you still maintain your integrity? Renounce God and die. But he said to her, You speak as one of the foolish women would speak. What, shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this, Job did not sin with his lips. Now, when Job's 3 friends heard of all this evil that had come on him, they each rose from his own place: Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite. And they made an appointment together to come to sympathize with him and to comfort him. When they lifted up their eyes from a distance and didn't recognize him, they raised their voices and wept. And they each tore his robe and sprinkled dust on their heads toward the sky. So they sat down with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights. And no one spoke a word to him, for they saw his grief was very great. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. Job answered, Let the day perish in which I was born. The night which said, There is a boy conceived, let that day be darkness. Don't let God from above seek it, neither let the light shine on it. Let darkness and the shadow of death claim it for their own. Let a cloud dwell on it. Let all that makes the day black terrify it. As for that night, let thick darkness seize on it. Let it not rejoice among the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Behold, that night be barren. Let that night be barren. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse it who curse the day, who are ready to rouse up Leviathan. Let the stars of its twilight be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Neither let it see the eyelids of the morning, because it didn't shut up the doors of my mother's womb, nor did it hide trouble from my eyes. Why didn't I die from the womb? Why didn't I give up the spirit when my mother bore me? Why did the knees receive me, or why the breasts that I should nurse? For now I should have laid down and been quiet. I should have slept. Then would I have been at rest with kings and counselors of the earth who built waste places for themselves, or with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden, untimely birth. I had not been as infants who never saw light. There the wicked cease from trouble. There the weary are at rest. There the prisoners are at ease together. They don't hear the voice of the taskmaster. The small and the great are there. The servant is free from his master. Why is light given to him who is in misery? Life to the bitter in soul, who long for death, but it doesn't come, and dig for it more than hidden treasures. Who rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they find the grave. Why is light given to a man whose way is hidden, whom God has hedged in? For my sighing comes before I eat. My groanings are poured out like water. For the thing which I fear comes on me. That which I am afraid of comes to me. I am not at ease, neither am I quiet. Neither do I have rest, but trouble comes. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered, If someone ventures to talk with you, Will you be grieved? Who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, you have instructed many, you have strengthened the weak hands. Your words have supported him who was falling, and you have made feeble knees firm. But now it has come to you, and you faint. It touches you, and you're troubled. Isn't your piety your confidence? Isn't the integrity of your ways your hope? Remember now, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the upright cut off? According to what I have seen, those who plow iniquity sow trouble. Those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same. By the breath of God they perish. By the blast of his anger are they consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion, the teeth of young lions, are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey. The cubs of the lioness are scattered abroad. Now, a thing that was secretly brought to me, my ears received a whisper of it. In thoughts from the visions of the night. Did I skip something?